Well, what's different, Sarah, is that we've seen the London Whale play out fully. We've seen J.P. Morgan in the 12 months since last year's vote effectively be sanctioned to a degree by the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, that is J.P. Morgan's main regulator, and a swirl of attention around Jamie Dimon, raising the question as to whether or not he should be the CEO and the chairman at the same time. As you point out, this ballot initiative was on was subject to vote last year at J.P. Morgan's annual meeting and was defeated by a margin of 20 points. It only got 40% support. So it is quite possible, given all the attention this has generated, Sarah, Scarlett, Jonathan, and Scott, that the margin of victory for the company, because the company won last year, might not be so wide this year. And that's pretty much, I'm trying to set your expectations here. My sense, talking to people close to the voting process, is that we should expect this resolution to fail, which is to say that Jamie Dimon will win, will get to keep the dual titles of CEO and chairman. That's again, hard to know until we get the official results, but that's my sense right now.
Right, and Eric and John, I want to bring up something you wrote, Jonathan, while in your column on Bloomberg View, talking about Lloyd Blankfein and Jamie Dimon, because Lloyd Blankfein knows a thing or two about being under scrutiny. You wrote that the intense public focus on J.P. Morgan will move on, provided there are no other blow-ups. If this whole experience leaves Dimon a little wiser, a little humbler, that can only be a good thing.
That's a big if.
That's a big if, meaning?
And I was riffing on a piece of the Times had that said that Lloyd Blankfein and Jamie Dimon were speaking to each other about how he could possibly deal with this. But I don't know if he's going to end up wiser and humbler out of this. My whole sense is that I think that J.P. Morgan, by actively lobbying their investors for the past month or so on this issue, has escalated the question of this ballot proposal to a level that it should have never gotten to. I just think that this has become a sideshow, and I do think that he's probably, the company would be best off if they had a split chairman CEO, just like they did when Jamie Dimon first became CEO and William Harrison was.
Are you convinced, Scott, that that is the best?
Sideshow is the right term. The board should have never gotten it. They have more important things to do at the board and this annual meeting. The board should have said, it's a title, you're not going to make any less money, you can run the board meetings if you want, throw them some red meat. This is a lose-lose. The shareholders won't win, but tomorrow morning all the media will be reporting is 48% of people don't support Jamie Dimon.
And Eric, we should point out that, yes, Jamie is the main event there today, but other members of the board will be questioned as well, and there could be some changes.
Well, to the point that Scott and Jonathan were just making, the board should be what's in focus here. And for many shareholders, the board is in focus. There are lots of people, institutional investors, some of J.P. Morgan's largest holders, who do think all the attention around Dimon is a sideshow. And the far more important questions are who ends up serving on this board. Let's consider for a moment J.P. Morgan's Risk Committee. There are 3 people on the Risk Committee. David Cote, everybody knows who he is. He's the CEO of Honeywell. Then Ellen Futter from the American Museum of Natural History in New York City, and James Crown. Many people, including the proxy advisors, Institutional Shareholder Services, and Glass Lewis, say that these people, these 3 directors in particular, have failed to exercise the duties that they own shareholders, and as a result have recommended that shareholders oust them from the board. And that seems as though it might be, if not probable, a possible outcome of today's vote. Consider this for a moment. It is a much easier route for shareholders to take, to withhold support from the Risk Committee because of the London Whale, because of the way that the OCC has criticized J.P. Morgan without forcing Jamie Dimon to give up his chairman's seat. It is the easier route and perhaps, in the eyes of many shareholders, the appropriate thing to do today.